it happens fast, right? And so he goes, I'm going to pinch hit here, I'm going to pinch hit here, and then he goes, you figure out where we're going to put him. It's for the people that haven't grown up in the National League game and watched American League games all the time. The National League game is so much more fun because those things happen every night. So you kind of, and I tell this to Hyder a lot, we're lucky that my first time managing or coaching an American League game was 2020. I grew up in the National League game. So the pitcher hits, you got double switch situations, and it happens quickly, and you got to make sure everything is more fun for us. It actually is more fun. But like the other night against Tampa, we were pinch hitting, and I never saw Rushman get the game-tying base hit because if you remember, we had pinched hit a couple of times, and then he goes, you figure out where they're going, positionally wise, and where they're going to hit. And I'm looking down. You see the video. I'm looking down. Okay, we got a first baseman. There's a guy who can play second. We got a shortstop. We got all these positions, and then we put it in play. But in the National League game, it's every night, and it's such a pure game. It's such more fun to manage. Last night it happened even faster because we weren't planning for Hicksy to get hurt or Hicksy to come out of the game. So then all of a sudden we have 10 seconds, 20 seconds to come up with a couple different scenarios that I threw at him. We started with the Kershaw was the DH. He went to left field. O'Hearn stayed in the game. And then when we brought Cano in, the pitcher spot would have hit seventh coming up. If we would have blown the lead and tied it, the pitcher spot, Cano's spot, would have come up seventh in the next inning. And, he asked me, what would you do? And I've always taught, move the pitcher spot as far back as you can. And as far as back as you can is 9 spots in baseball, right? So what we did is, thinking, going through it, Mountcastle is still kind of questionable about playing defense. I think he's good today. And then the next guy that plays first base is McCann. So we had that option to put McCann at first or Hearn in left field, he's played in left field, and put the pitcher spot in Kerstad's spot, which is the 8th hole, but it would have been 9 spots away. So that's the furthest you could put him away. In case Cano gives up the lead and now the game is tied, your closer has a chance to pitch at least one more inning, maybe 2. And we were trying to stay away. I think at that time we only had Hall and Lopey in the bullpen. So we were trying to stay away from those guys and not use them, only in an emergency. So those are the things, the scenarios that happen really quickly. The great thing about our club, and I think we lead the league in doing it because of Rutch and the times that he DHs, sometimes we'll pinch hit for the catchers. Last year we did it for Robinson Chirinos a lot. This year we've done it for McCann a few times, but we still do it probably more often than anybody else in the league. So we've, and that's going to go away. The umpires, Chad Fairchild, who had 15 years in the big leagues, he hasn't done the National League game in about 4 or 5 years. So they hadn't got. So that's what took the conversation with Hyder. I think they was like, okay, what's going on? And I think it threw us a surprise. But it's the good thing we got a good team that is versatile. Hearn plays first base, plays both corner and outfield. Frazier could play the outfield. Mateo could play the outfield. McCann could play first base and get catch. So Gunnar could play short and third, and Urias could play third and second, and Westberg. So we have pieces that we can move around that it gives us versatility to be able to do that.
I'm just going to hand you the mic for the rest of this. This is amazing. So you mentioned all of the guys that can go everywhere. Have you seen a team that's this flexible before? Do you think this is the direction baseball is going in?
I think the Cubs, they were trying to do that. That's Joe Madden, right? He had Sobris, who played a couple different positions. Bryant played a couple different positions. But I don't think that they had as many guys as we have here that play 4 or 5 different positions. I think it's good to have that flexibility, but I am not moving Corey Seager in center field, your best player. And I'm just throwing that because it just came up to my mind. Moving them around. Usually your best players stay in the spot all the time. And I think we'll get there, whenever we start getting really, really good for a long period of time. I think, there's going to be one guy like Russia ain't going to go play first base. Well, he may there, maybe later on in his career, but he ain't going to go play left. He's not going to go play right. He's going to be our everyday catcher. But I think it's nice to have that flexibility.